Yeah, I mean, there are just kind of a lot of movies that are pretty similar to that, like Day After Tomorrow is pretty similar.
Hello, everybody.
Oh, here's the Manhattan cousins.
First of all, why is everybody still at your birthday?
Eleanor and Okay, here we go. Well, we're not quite there yet. People are not quite
Hey, Claire?
Yes.
Well, this may, after people just came 8, I think we should go outside and do a big group picture. Well, because that's where we'll get everyone. How else are we going to fit everyone? And they're still light.
Yeah,
Good idea, Felicia. Good idea. All right, I'm with you. Well, so we can all fit.
My family never lets me take a good picture. They're always, hi, baby.
Yeah, we're doing that. Yeah.
There's just a bunch of different things I watch. I watch Weeds.
Has to do with friends. This is Terry's sister. Her boyfriend.
Welcome, everybody.
We're joking with the
And
Manhattan.
if it wasn't for my brother Burgess coming all the way from Arizona, wouldn't have and of course, the ladies.
The sisters.
The sisters, and there's a brother. That's, see, we got to, okay. The reason we're here,
Yeah, why don't you do that? Tell Ben not
we're
to.
really here is, I want to know who the hell is Uncle Yuri?
Who?
Uncle who?
It's not Uncle Judy, it's Aunt Judy.
Oh,
Well, now we have the answer.
now we have,
That explains a lot.
Yeah.
it's Auntie Yuri.
Auntie Judy.
Okay, so we have the ladies. We have the ladies. Who would like to say who they are? Rochelle. Okay. Here.
Well, I
good
can
point.
be sisters.
Do you have the little one? It might be better, easier to see who they
And there's
are.
one brother.
Oh, is that cute? You know, little Zafty Judy.
The little buxom sisters.
Yeah.
Oh, we can thank them?
I can thank them here.
Starting at the top left is my mother, Annie.
Annie.
And she was the youngest of the sisters.
Oh, I didn't even know that.
Yeah, she was the youngest. And next to her,
We can say everything about
I think we're going to do just an age.
Rochelle.
Next to her is Rose, and I believe she was the next in age. And then down at the
Debbie, you're
bottom
in
row,
trouble.
from left to right, is Ethel.
Yeah, Grandma Ethel, yeah.
Grandma Ethel, beautiful. And then in the middle is Clara, and to the right is Jenny. And I think either Clara or Jenny were the oldest, I'm not sure. No, I mean, I am sure, both of them, but I don't know who was the oldest.
Wasn't Jenny the one that lived in New York?
No, that was Razel.
Oh, Rose.
Rose.
Yeah.
She.
So
Well, we
your
won't
mother,
go into that.
Rochelle,
What?
your mother
Yes, my mother.
was married to Jake the Eggman, as we knew him.
Chick the Eggman.
That's right. Yep.
He worked down the North End for over 50 years. He learned Italian, and just everyone loved him there. It was so much fun. Even as a kid, I used to go in on Saturdays and help them sell the eggs and candle the eggs. Those were the days years ago. You would hand candle the eggs.
Candle?
Yeah.
What does that mean?
You help
To see
them
if
with
there are any
Any
imperfections.
blood
Really?
spots. Or if the shell was cracked, you could only see that by candling. And if it was cracked, it would go into a
You get a
certain...
deal. Yeah.
Got a deal or went to the bakers in the area, things like that. That was interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right. It's all coming back.
So you
Yeah.
had the
I had-
Mastermans.
Right. My mother, I was the youngest of 6 children. And there was Vera, Harriet's mother.
My mother.
Was the oldest. and then Sonny, who lived in California,
Next one.
and Harold, another brother, and another brother, Ed, and another sister, Shirley. And then they were all like 2 years apart, and then, 8 years later, I came. I was like 43, I think, something like that.
And how much is this? We've been having this discussion. The age difference between you and Harry.
3.5 years.
3.5 years.
Depends on the month.
Yeah,
Usually
that's,
four.
well, sometimes we're 4, sometimes we're 3.5.
Sometimes
Okay,
I'm
and
2
then
years
we-
older.
and then
Sometimes I'm
there's,
1 for a day.
Let's see, this is Razel. You know, not sure about all her children. You knew some of her children. Razel, the ones that lived in California. I know there was, I think, Evie. She had a daughter, Evie. And another,
Willie.
Willie.
What was his last
It's
name?
true,
It was
yeah.
one of her sons.
Except the stories we don't know.
And then
So who are the
So
Schraegers?
between all of us, we would
That's who
probably.
they.
Those are the Schraegers.
Right.
Those are the
Right.
Schraegers.
Right.
All the Shrek.
You keep you writing this down,
They're in
Burge?
California.
Yeah.
Burge, you
Right here.
got all this?
Right there.
You got all this now?
I have
Right.
Schrager.
And then, of course, well, Ethel.
And then we had Ethel.
I'm trying to figure out how he's
My
related to mom.
grandmother, Ellen's grandmother. And,
Wait,
well,
who's
oh,
it?
your grandmother. Yeah, your grandmother, yeah.
Who's grandmother?
Yeah, first cousins, because we're first cousins. Ethel.
How are you?
This is Bennett.
Who's that?
Bennett. Eddie's son.
Oh my God. Just like your father.
You never hear
So
that.
Ethel had Sarah, Eddie, and Lucy Morris. And Morris was from
Ben gets an napkin
the
away
first
from
marriage in Russia and then came over when he was old. Where's Eleanor?
Eleanor!
We're talking about your daddy. What about him?
How old was he when he came here?
Patty looks like Eleanor.
He was 15. And he married and met Margie.
And he
Yeah,
came
yeah,
first to New York.
That's crazy.
Then he went to Boston. Then he hightailed it back to New York. We'll get into that later. And he met my mother. He was working in the railroad yard of the sweatshop. My mother was a stitcher. They met at a union picnic, and the rest is history.
But he
So
was very,
Gertrude and Rita were born in New York.
but he was very involved in the union too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he came across the Canadian border.
No, my mother did. Oh, your mother? No, he came
See, now you
to
guys
us
gotta
illegally. She was my mother was undocumented for many years. When she was pregnant with Billy and I, she had to go back to Canada and re-enter. Because she was deported. Undocumented. Even though she was married. I always knew she was an alien.
So you had never registered as
She never registered. She was afraid because she entered illegally.
So, and Margie had 6 kids?
Yes, she did.
6, yeah. And worked all the time at the fruit store and.
Right.
She's like 3 inches.
Yeah, very, very hard.
Good.
She's very hard. Okay, who's next? Who's next?
Oh, next, excuse me, next is Clara. But she only had 1 child.
But come to find out, the last time the cousins were together,
Yes.
that Clara was married a few times. We didn't know
She
that.
was in Russia. Right.
Well, grandma.
Right, in Russia, but the only one
But no, it's related.
because the man that she did marry, he was the only man. He was her only husband that I knew, but that husband had a son, and he ended up marrying her daughter.
Wait.
Scandal! Scandal!
Clara had Anne, her only daughter. And when she married, well, I called him Scholl. He had a son.
Auntie Clara married somebody with a son,
Right.
and he married.
Anne.
That's Joe Cohen.
What?
They weren't
Ann
really
was married
related.
to Joe Cohen.
Right.
So Joe Cohen was Auntie Anna's son, husband's son.
What?
Stepson-in-law.
No.
Her daughter and her stepson married.
Clara had Anne.
Right.
When she married this man, that man had a son.
Yes.
And eventually, that son and Clara's daughter Anne got married. And she went. You know Cohen. Anne Cohen.
Never knew that. Wow. And Judy Goldberg would have been here. Auntie Clara's granddaughter.
Right.
But she, her husband had a valve replacement. Very sick, so she couldn't come.
the hillbillies around here.
Okay, you can put it
Anything
down.
other ghostess. And then, of course, this is Jenny. I don't have many children.
And who- is that Violet?
Violet, Molly, and she had a couple of sons. Nathan, and there were a few sons when I was young.
Okay. No.
No, but when I was young, they were all really.
They were all in the house.
Yeah.
All of the sisters in
Yeah.
California.
Son,
whole extended family.
brother, son,
where?
Kids.
brother.
Must be other generations.
Jim Ethel's brother.
And those are the Rothman sisters.
Oh, Jenny's. Where does Jenny live? Rochelle?
She lived in Newton on Ward Street. No, Clara lived on Ward Street. Jenny, I think she lived in, well, but not originally. I think in Brooklyn.
And then where did a lot of her kids end up in California?
I don't know. I
Still don't know how long.
None of them were.
A couple of them were local. I think one son moved to California.
The Randolph and the Canton.
That's her, Jenny. Yeah.
Oh my God, I think we have it all down.
Go ahead, repeat it now.
We got another sister.
I'll send you a CD.
So what happened to the brother?
This picture wasn't in there.
No. Actually, the brother was the youngest of the six.
His name was
Morris.
Morris.
I'll tell you something interesting about my mom. She was only about 13 when she came over with her younger brother at that time. Well, he was her younger brother. He came down first from the ship. I'm not sure where it came into port or anything like that. But she got the measles on the ship. And of course she was quarantined with a few other kids. And
Who got the measles?
my mother with a few other children. So they actually hoisted them down in these baskets to another area of the dock. And my mother said she could hear her brother yell, "Be careful, my sister's in that basket. Be careful with my sister. My baby sister." Yeah. Funny how those things come back to you.
Yeah, that's an image.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought Morris was the one that had the measles. Isn't that funny? I thought there was something about it. Yeah. Oh, was that a
Well,
different one?
he might have too, but
I thought
he
there was
might have
someone
been
else that
off,
couldn't come up, that couldn't come over.
out of there first and then was waiting for her.
Okay, now Rochelle, if you wouldn't mind, I'm going a little bit off track.
Yes, okay.
Only because it's such
That's one.
a wonderful story.
Oh.